Welcome, everybody, to another great episode of Real Life Matters. And of course, I am your host, DBoss. And I'm just hoping that everybody's been doing their 15 minutes of laughing every day. Yes, 50 minutes or more. That's going to keep you looking youthful. It's going to tone your abs. I'm not saying that you don't stop going to the gym, but you could do that. And also, it'll make you lower your blood pressure if you have anything. And it also is a lot of health benefits to healing your body with laughter. And if you don't have anybody you can laugh with, then you call somebody, or you could just watch all the streaming channels and everything that you can watch now, everything you could laugh for 15 minutes or more. And I've been getting a lot of feedback. Everybody says they've been doing it. It warms up your vocal cords if you have to speak, sing, whichever you want to do. But anyways, we're going to hear something from one of our sponsors here. And I got one of my homeboys here from Montreal. And I'm telling you, when we come back, we're gonna find out all the fabulous things he's been doing. So we'll be right back.
Welcome to your vital steps to better health and fitness. I'm Joanne James. Today we're going to talk about the effects of no exercise on the muscles. Many people are spending a lot of time sitting at their desk and not exercising, as well as the internet has taken people out of the exercise realm and into sitting down and playing games on their phones. There's a major detriment to not exercising. When you don't exercise, your muscles become weak, and that impacts your bones. So now you have both weak muscles and weak bones. The other problem is you lose strength, and the daily activities that you like to do become more difficult. So it's important to be doing some form of exercise to keep the muscles toned. And thirdly, your body composition will change. You will end up getting more body fat and less muscle mass, which then tends to be unattractive, and you lose energy and you become more fatigued. So do yourself a favor. Get into a great exercise routine. Find somebody who can put you on a great program. Your body's going to love it. I'm Joanne James, and this has been your vital steps to better health and fitness. Take care.
Well, thank you, Joanne James, for that. Everybody get up and do something, because, us here, when you do a lot of promotion and marketing and stuff like that, you sit down, you say you're going to get up in an hour. Next thing you know, it's 2 hours, 3 hours later. So, the key is to get up and move around and do some stuff. But anyway, we got somebody here that he says his music is the key. And, he's doing a lot of stuff, a lot of events. He's been in the game for a long time. And, I'm so glad and happy we got our Canadian brothers doing this stuff and doing their things here. But sometimes, we get hidden behind the U.S. guys. But I'm telling you today, he's no lightweight. And with no further ado, he's going to tell us all about his journey, what he's done, what's coming up for him, what he does. And I'm so glad that he even took the time out to speak to me, because he's always busy. So with no further ado, we introduce to you Rickey D, Rickey D's Promotions and Events.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Thank you for having me on there. It's been a
Wow.
minute. It's been a minute, girl. It's been a minute.
It's a minute. I'm telling you, we got a minute to talk to you. So here at Real Life Matters and here, we like to know where people's cultural background and where they come from. So in case you could connect, people can connect with you.
Okay, well, I was born and raised in Little Burgundy, Montreal, which is a historically known Black community based in Montreal, Canada. It's one of the oldest Black communities in Canada, where a lot of immigrants that came from the West Indies and from America ended up coming up. Also, those who came from Nova Scotia that ended up coming up here because of the railways and the trains to find work and to seek adventure and a new lifestyle. So I come from that neighborhood. My parents were from Montserrat. My father.
What? You're from Montserrat?
Yeah, Montserrat.
I never thought.
Yeah, I'm your first Montserratian. How's that?
What?
Yeah. My father's Italian, and
Wow.
yes, met my mother back in the '60s here in Montreal as young adults, and hooked up, and here I am today, rocking with you, my dear, doing my thing
Wow.
like no other.
That is really shocking to me. I had no idea from Montreal. I thought I was going to say another island.
Yeah, well, I'm one of the
Well,
very few Montrealans here in Montreal. Montreal, down in Little Burgundy, there was a small community of Montrealans who came
oh,
up
yeah.
during the 1940s, late 40s, early 50s, during what we call the domestic era, when Canada opened the doors to Black people from the Caribbean in order to come up and to clean their homes and houses of the well-to-do white people. And this is how my grandparents on my mother's side came into Canada and came to be here. So they came in on that program, and they came to Little Burgundy, and they never left. They actually passed away.
Oh,
All of
poor dear.
them, my mother and my grandmother and my grandfather and everything in Little Burgundy. So they're true downtowners, so to speak.
Yeah. For people that don't know, Little Burgundy is in Montreal, Quebec. So
That's
that's,
correct. Well, that's what I said. If
that's
you
in the day. Yeah, in the day. No, no, for people in the day, in back in the day, that's where they said all the men were at.
there's a lot
all
of
the
men folk down
all
there.
the bad boys.
Yeah, we had our share of those too.
And a lot of people wouldn't let us. Your parents will let you. Where are you going? No, no.
Crazy, eh? Yeah, those were the times. It was
Yes.
a it was a it was a dynamic environment, not a big area, but a
No.
lot of activity. And we had the perfect mix of different ethnicities and nationalities coming together under one roof to create that melting pot. So, Little Burgundy was considered to be the Harlem of the North
Yep.
at one
That
time.
was like New York. Everybody had it.
Yes, we were the Harlem of the North. If you
Yes.
wanna, if you wanna give it some sort of classification.
All right. So tell us about your first official event, Run DMC.
Ah, wow, wow. We're going way back. I had the pleasure in the early '80s. I had a good friend of mine who was a DJ. He wasn't into promotion, so he didn't want to hand out flyers. He didn't want to self promote himself or his partner at that time, who was not a DJ, who was a promoter.
Okay.
So he approached me and he asked me, would I be interested in filling in that gap for them? I couldn't sing, I couldn't dance, I couldn't rap, I couldn't do
You
any of
couldn't
that.
sing. You couldn't dance.
No, I
Everybody
know
in
I
Montreal
couldn't. I
could
know I
dance.
couldn't. I couldn't do any of that. I was terrible. I was really terrible.
Oh my god.
Okay, and I wasn't gonna go out there and embarrass myself when I knew I couldn't do it. But I had a love for the music, for the entertainment aspect of it.
Mhm.
So I said, I realized that there's two sides to show business, right? There's the show and there's the business. And without the show, there's no business. And without the business, there's no show. So I ended up focusing more on the business side of things. And I started to hand out flyers, going to various parties and events, nightclubs, movie theaters, premieres of various things that focused on the Black community here in Montreal.
Okay.
And from there, I started to build a name for myself because anytime there was anything, I was there, ready to hand out flyers. Always had a flyer on me, walked with them in my pocket like a wallet. I had my wallet, I had my keys, and I had my flyers. I didn't really have any money, but I had the flyers. So I ended up,
Mm. Well, he'll be right back. He said,
became very successful at that. And then I had a buddy of mine named Gary T, who had approached me at that time, recognized my talents. He himself was like myself, a builder, and offered me an opportunity in order to work with Run DMC. So I said, if I could do it with the parties, I could do it with the shows. I was confident enough that all it took was some hard work and some good timing. And so I decided to get involved in it. And that's how Run DMC came about. He was offered the show, and then he approached me with it. I invested some money, not a lot of money, because back then I was just, an up and coming producer of events, promoter. So I decided to get involved and learn that part of the business through him.
Okay.
So this is how it all came about, doing our thing. We had Run DMC. Back then, there was no cell phones, no none of that.
I know.
The pager was your key. So we had the pager. So, once they left New York City, we had no clue where they were until they arrived in
Wow.
Canada at the venue. So imagine, and during that time of Run DMC, there was a snowstorm that blanketed eastern
Oh,
New York and Canada.
right.
Good or not, we were waiting for them at the venue. We didn't have a lot of people because of the snow. Really discouraged people to come on. I mean, we had maybe about 3 feet of snow, 4 feet. It was huge.
Yeah.
They eventually made it. They made it. We paid them their money. They performed, be it a shortened version of the show, because there was hardly anybody there. And then we all decided to walk over to Harvey's restaurant, and we sat up there until about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, talking about music and what's going on in New York and so forth. It was a great experience. Didn't make any money. We lost money,
But
but the
did you bring
experience.
Dougie Fresh or no? I don't think so, right?
No, never
No.
never brought Dougie Fresh.
I interviewed Dougie Fresh. He
Yeah, I just did Slick Rick. I had two
oh,
shows with him. Yeah, I brought him to Montreal and Toronto, to the
yes.
Phoenix in
Phoenix, okay.
Toronto and in Montreal at the Belmont. But no,
Wow.
never had an opportunity to do Slick Rick.
Dougie.
Excuse me, Dougie Fresh.
Yeah. He's big. He tells you that you don't even you say you want to do something, say don't ask me how much money I'm gonna cut, I'm just gonna do it. I already
Right,
have money. That's what he already has money. So he ain't worried about it. So
right.
it was an honor. But okay, so tell us about you have something going on here. This carnival on what was it on the canal 2024?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So like I said, there's two sides to Rickey D. There's Rickey D events is the umbrella. Under that, you got Rickey D concerts. The other side is Rickey D parties, grown and sexy parties.
Oh, so it's
So
three.
but no, but there's an umbrella. So it's two,
Okay,
but Rickey D events is the main thing.
okay,
So now I started over 25 years ago producing daytime parties. I was one of the first guys to bring daytime parties here to Montreal, and I was inspired by what I was seeing coming out of Toronto
okay.
and what was coming out of Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
There was a big push for daytime events. And I said, well, if it can work in Toronto and in Atlanta, it most probably can work here too.
Yeah,
So I decided that I was going to try it with my partners, which we did. And it was a tremendous success. It worked out very well for us.
because
And
people like to come out in the day,
yeah,
day to
we
evening. You know, like
realized.
they could see things.
Yeah. At first, I started off doing these old school parties over 30 years ago
Okay.
because I wasn't seeing any of my friends anymore. Back from the 80s and 90s, they stopped kind of coming out because they were starting to feel a little bit dated in these parties because these parties ended up getting younger and younger while
Mm-hmm.
they were getting older and older. So I said, you know what? I'm going to I'm going to focus on doing old school parties.
Like how
And
the rendezvous was, the
it
rendezvous
was,
cats.
yes, yes, but you know what I mean. But back then they weren't considered old school locations. Now, when you
Yeah.
look back, you can consider them old school location. Back then, they were relevant of the moment and everything. When like when I started doing those things, the rendezvous and fifties and cats and checkers and them were closed. This was like late 90s. I
Yeah.
started doing
Horoscope.
these the horoscope and all these other places, and I stopped doing them, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna focus on doing these old school events. I was gonna make it 25 and over, which was
Okay.
pretty much unheard of. I was just gonna play 80s and 90s music at that time. Each one of my flyers had an iconic figure from Bob Marley to to um, to Barry White, and just a bunch of Earth, Wind and Fire, the Isley Brothers, just a lot of Stevie Wonder, a lot of these
Mm-hmm.
iconic figures graced the front cover of my flyer, and that basically sent the message. They were a tremendous, tremendous success, and beyond my wildest dreams. A lot of times when I do these things, I I do it out of passion and out of love, and by approaching my things that way, my projects, I usually get the best results because the divine universe sends me into a direction that I
Yes.
will succeed. So that's the way I operate. So at that time, nobody was doing this. I was inspired by my friends not coming anymore to my events.
Oh, why did it stop? They just didn't want to come, or they're getting haters.
No, they didn't. They didn't want to come anymore because it was too young for them, and they needed
Oh,
they needed they needed to see their people.
mature crowd.
You see, now you understand. So you know, so that was my introduction because I was always in tune with my people. I was always in tune with what was going on around me. And then I eventually I started to understand the difference between doing parties and producing concerts. Concerts are driven by the artists.
Okay.
So it doesn't Rickey D events, Rickey D concerts. I can have a young concert, an all ages young concert, and that would not affect my relationship with the old school party crowd because
Okay.
they understand that one is this and the other one's another thing. So they
Okay.
don't it's not like I'm promoting an old school event and a bunch of younger people come to it. No, it's they're smart enough and adept enough in order to understand the differences between the two clienteles.
Okay.
So
But you don't leave them out. But
no,
more people want to see, because I remember when I was in Virginia, they had this place where oldies but goodies, it was called, and we used to go every that place would pack Friday, Saturday,
see,
and you just pay a little bit to go in, but you could bring your own liquor. I never seen a place like that. You bring your own liquor in, but you can't bring your mixers or
right,
any food. You just bring it in. So people had their cases, and it was
wow,
only mature people in there.
you see, and it worked. So I was lucky on that, so I continued to do those. Bouncing between my concerts, which were eclectic, different ages from older concerts to younger concerts in terms of the age group and the demographics, to doing my old school parties.
So, what keeps you? You just keep going and going. You know what? You said a little bit earlier that, the universe, I just think of something and I said, you know what, I'm going to do it. So what keeps you going? You keep hitting everything right out the cage because all your parties are successful. People are coming, people are going. So what's the drive? What's driving you?
The passion.
Okay.
I realized after COVID, my true description of myself and what I am. I'm a creator. I've always been a creator. I've always been a person who has taken nothing and built it into something. It's always just been the way I am. So the art of creation truly inspires me,
Okay.
of putting together these, it's like having many children, right? And some of your children grow up to be extremely successful. Some of them don't. Some of them get sick. Some of them die.
Uh-huh.
But at the end of the day, they're all your children, and you love every one of them until a decision has to be made for it. So that's the way I envision it. So I'm still
Well, it
inspired.
shows me that you're made to do this. This is what you're made for.
Yes, it is. Like you're right about that. Like I realized during COVID, I did the good thing about COVID for me is that it allowed me to gain some insight into who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think he's a little bit frozen.
yeah, because somebody was trying to call me. My son was trying to call me.
I forgot to tell you,
So
you
I
put your
just
phone on
I just
airplane
took him
mode.
out. Yeah.
It's
Oh,
all right.
I didn't know if I do that you would be able to get through on to me.
Yeah,
I
I went. No, it's just no problem. You just that way you don't get anybody disturbing you. But it's okay. Don't worry. We're
okay.
going. This is real life matters. So that people expect the unexpected, like we got you on today. So tell us what else you have going on.
Well, like I said, I produce all kinds of events. So some of the events I got coming up, like my favorite DJ, my longtime DJ that I've spent the last 20 some odd years or more grooming, is doing his 50th birthday. So
Wow.
so it's a big thing for me because he's like my kid brother. His name is DJ Majez.
Okay.
Kent is his real name. And he's an incredible DJ. He's right now playing in some of the Grand Prix of Montreal's top events for
Wow.
Mercedes, for Bentley. He's playing at the Ritz Carlton tomorrow. But he's my DJ, and he's played around the world, and he's amazing. So it's his 50th. He never does birthday parties. He's not one of these
Oh.
guys. So this is a real special one.
Okay.
He, like, in all my years of working with him, he's never done a birthday party. So
Wow.
this is a big one for him, and I'm happy to be a part of this. I think incredible moment in his life. So we're doing this at a place called the Riverside in St. Henry, the district of St. Henry.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful outdoor location, conveniently located near the the canal, the
Okay.
Lachine Canal.
That's where I
So
grew up in Celestine.
yes, you know, it's an amazing location. We're expecting about 400 to 500 people to come in
Wow.
for him, and yeah, I'm really excited for this. He's invited some DJs up from Toronto and from Ottawa to
Okay.
attend, plus some of his DJs that he's worked with, some of the DJs that he's groomed. He's really stepped up there, and represented. So I'm very happy and proud to be a part of that. So I'm doing that for his birthday. Then after that, we're doing a party for Saint Jean Baptiste. Saint Jean Baptiste is the province of Quebec, which is the state, which is equivalent to the states, and we're doing a party on that day. It's considered to be French people's holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's not celebrated anywhere else in Canada but in Quebec.
Okay.
So it's on June the 24th. It's a provincial holiday, and we're doing an event called the Touch of Pink.
Woo!
We've been doing this for the last 3 years, and it's sort of a tribute to those who are touched by cancer to some degree. Also, those who just like to keep it classy and keep it funky. And it's been a hit for the last 2 years, going into its third year. We're looking forward to it. It's at a beautiful location, the Chateau Champlain Marriott. On the rooftop, they have an outdoor terrace.
Okay.
So it should be a dandy. It should be a real special moment. Looking forward to that. Really is.
Okay.
So we're doing that. Uh, that's what's going on there. Then after that, we're doing carnival at the canal.
Mm.
So as our carnival, West Indian Carnival, Caribbean Carnival, was was canceled for the last couple of years. Due to all kinds of madness. I won't get into the
I
particulars
know.
of it, but
We're
but
going through that up here in Toronto.
yeah, well, ours was canceled,
Wow.
and now, through the grace of about 7 Caribbean organizations have formed a consortium in order to produce it properly this year, and the city of Montreal has given them the mandate to produce this event. Be it they were late on giving it to them, they should have given them more time. They still have the mandate to do it. So it's going to be the first year of it returning,
Okay.
which is
Wow.
which is great. Like finally, we start the journey down the road again for Carnival. So I'm really excited about that. That's going to be on this Saturday, July the 6th. And we're doing the after Carnival Fete on the Sunday at Riverside again. So doing that.
Oh, it's 2 days.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's one day, the parade and everything else. They also have Kitty Carnival, everything. They're building it back up on that. We're doing a party on the Sunday, which doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the parade itself, but
Okay.
it's a tribute towards Carnival itself and to keep the energy and the spirit alive for those who want to partake in it. So we're
So
doing
you
that.
know. So you know how to dance. So I hope you know how to dance now.
Yeah, I know how to dance a bit. I can move, but I couldn't pop, lock, break dance. I couldn't do any of that stuff. That stuff was too complicated and it hurt
Well,
too
a lot of
much.
people. Well, some people were too big to be doing that.
Well, there you go. I was stiff, my bones were hurting, and I wasn't getting down on the
And that
ground and
floor was
stepping
hard.
on concrete. And then I couldn't pop those muscles and those ligaments the way some guys were just able to do it, which was incredible.
Hmm.
So I decided I was gonna, but I could do my little jig here and there. I'm not that bad,
So you
but
know how to whine? So you whine too?
I whined a bit. I mean, I don't. I'm cool. You know what I mean? I'm not super intense.
Because back in the day, I tell people we grew up in Montreal. People would never say they all said they're from Montreal, from New York. And they would never they would want to say that you're from the West Indies or something. It was like it was a curse or something. So only people that knew certain people would know if your family was from there. Oh, their family's from Barbados or Jamaica. But people back then, we sometimes wouldn't even know. And the people would tell me that person's from Jamaica, and you're like, I don't know. Nobody really mentioned where they came from.
No,
Only
for
said, no,
sure.
we're from
You're right.
Montreal or from New York, or they would lie and said they're from New York or somewhere else. And they didn't say they were from
Mhm.
Toronto, but now a lot of us are from Montreal or here in Toronto. We helped build the city here. So, and I'm glad to see you come. You do some things here, you know. So I'm glad to
Yes.
see that. At least you come over here.
Yeah. Well, normally for Toronto Caravana, I come down there with my partners and we throw an event. It's usually highly successful.
Hmm.
We do
Yeah,
about
because
five,
your people
six.
want to hear that Montreal vibe and they want to have the
Yeah.
older vibe, and they want to have that.
And that's what we do. We bring that Montreal vibe, the DJs, the way we promote, the way we
Hmm.
handle our stuff, and a lot of the ex Montrealers miss that and they crave it. They want that energy, and we try to give them the energy that they demand. So we're doing something in Toronto, most probably August the 18th, on a
Okay.
boat.
All right.
So we're putting that together as we speak, and it's going to be a boat party.
We're
So,
there.
so yeah, we're gonna be looking for all our Montreal peeps to come on
But some
down and
but some people use your name up here and say that you're coming, and then when you get there, you're not even there. So those people need to be put in check because it's not right. People coming, yes, we're coming to the function, but we're also coming to see Rickey D. We're coming to see you guys from Montreal, and then so what are you using his name on the thing, and he's not even there. They ain't even there.
well, you can never stop the hustle, boy.
He can't stop
What
the
can you
kid.
do? Can't stop the hustle. Well, it'll be all over my Instagram, which is
Yes.
rickyevents.com, my Facebook, which is Rickey D Events, my personal Facebook page, which is Rickey Daily,
Okay.
Daly. So
Uh-huh.
you'll be able to glimpse it. I do have a radio show, so
Oh,
if
you
you
do? We got to come
yeah
on then.
I have. It's an hour long. It's dedicated to music.
Okay.
I don't do like too many interviews on it because it's
Oh,
an hour.
yeah. It's only an
I just
hour. It's
play
not like
soul
it's two
music.
hours or
Yeah.
something.
Nah, I don't have time for
You
that.
don't have time.
It's
Just
too
let run the
much.
tracks.
That's it. You know what I mean? I just want to just play some great R&B, great soul music, and allow people to experience because there's not a lot of that on the radio here.
Hmm.
You can get it worldwide,
But you
but just
can't get it.
here.
So, Rickey, are there any shout outs that you want to give your people over your long journey span of doing
Ah,
party?
man, a few, but not a lot.
Oh my
A lot
gosh.
of them were like Butcher T,
Hmm.
Malik Shaheed, DJ Majaz, Mike Tough Williams. These are some of the guys that
And
I've
your
worked
family
with.
that's got to put up with you leaving.
Huh?
You shout out your family.
Well, of course, I wasn't finished. Well,
Okay.
my family, my wife, my son, my daughter.
Woo.
My daughter has been hanging with me at the radio station. She comes up. Last week, she gave me a few records to play that she
Uh-uh.
wanted to hear. I put them on. She was happy. Great records. They had an impact. It wasn't like it was something like, really? You want me to put that on? She was totally excited. 19 years old, son, 24
Wow.
years old. Yeah, they're doing well for themselves. I'm really proud of what my wife and myself have achieved with them. You know, your true mark of who you are is basically, you know, how your kids respond to you.
All right.
And I've been very fortunate to have two great kids who have responded very well to what, you know, what we attempted to do with them.
All right. So, what kind of advice would you give to anybody if they want to get into this business and do that?
Do it out of passion because there's very little money involved in it. The money is more for the top 3 to 5%.
Right.
Um, be dedicated, love what you're doing, and stay consistent. Because
Very good advice.
consistency is the hallmark of excellence.
Like you can't do one party a one off and then come back 3 days later. You're going to do something. You got to be.
And do it right.
Yeah.
Do it out of passion. You know, understand. You know your limitations. Understand your mistakes, and go out there and have fun.
Hmm. And you know, a lot of people don't realize that when you put on events, like even if the show, it takes a lot of energy. You know, you when you when you finish one of those events, like you're just like, oh my god, I can sleep for the week
Yeah, it's very
because it's a lot
intense.
of coordination and dealing with people and their attitudes and beatitudes or whatever they're having going on. You know, and people don't
Very
realize that you got to
intense.
deal with that. Yeah,
Very intense. Very
you see them
intense.
on the stage, hey, and singing and whatever. But what did they do? They gave the people hell
You gotta,
before they got on. You know what I mean?
you gotta love it. You
Yep.
have to love it. If you don't love it, then
You'll be
it's not
out
for you.
and you'll be
It's
out
not.
of it.
It's not for you. Then you know, and there's no shame in realizing that sometimes it's time to move on and to find something that suits more of your temperament.
Yeah. And people will understand that because you're being honest with yourself. Don't keep putting on a party and knows nobody keep coming. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
What you're gonna keep doing, maybe they'll come. You know,
Well,
no,
or you'll become very broke very fast.
unless
Don't
you got a
forget the
unless you
business.
got a pool of money sitting there just
Oh,
waiting, which not.
well, that pool will slowly but surely get drinking up
Yeah,
if you keep doing that way.
yeah.
Know your limitations. Know and understand yourself because it can be an expensive thing to do.
And have a close knit team. You
Right.
know, not too many people in it. Just
The right people.
yeah, so they know what they're doing, what their function is, and make sure they show up. And if you've been working with them for years, it's okay. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because some people think that they're working, they're in the party, and it's not. But anyways, it's been a pleasure having you on here, Rickey. You know, just talking to you, and now people getting to know where you are and who you are. So, can you tell everybody if they want to follow you and keep up with all your events, whichever city he can be coming to your city, any city. You guys, if you call him and book and have the right coin price, he maybe come to you.
Sometimes not. It all
Sometimes.
depends on the timing. All depends on the
Mhm.
timing.
Right. So, what's your social media?
My
So
social
people.
media is Rickey D Events. That's Rickey, the letter D, events with an S.com or without the .com for Instagram. My website is RickeyDEvents.com.
Okay.
My Facebook is Rickey D Events. That's my page.
So can people
Um,
purchase tickets if you have an event from your
sure,
page or they do
sure.
something else? Oh,
Sure,
okay. Okay.
RickeyDEvents.com. You know, I do a
Okay.
lot of big shows. I work a lot with Eventco. Like I'm working on the Snoop Dogg show this weekend. I'm working
I
with
forgot that one, people.
yeah, there's that. Chris Brown. I'm working with Eventco.
Woo!
Yeah. They basically hired my company to go on there and to reach the people that really dig Chris Brown. So that's Evenco. Evenco is the Live Nation of Montreal. Um, what else? Yeah, just that's how you get to me.
And I
Just
guess for
follow
them
me.
coming, you got to you're speaking English to them because obviously they don't speak French. So I guess you have to explain the contract a little bit more to them. So when they come there,
Yeah, no, when they we conduct our business with any American or Canadian outside of Quebec in perfect English
okay,
contracts. Everything is in English.
okay,
It's you're not coming into an archaic world where nobody speaks your language. We speak your
okay.
language, as you can
Yeah,
see.
I think it's thing because some people think, okay, where you gonna have a passport to go there? No, not if you're coming. If you live in Canada, no.
No,
If
if
you're
you're coming from the States or
yes,
Europe, yes, you need a passport. And go
Caribbean,
get
yes,
one and come on
go get
down
one. But a
to
lot of people
party
are so
with us.
hard headed. They think they can't. They don't want to get a passport. Well, if you don't get a passport, you can't come over.
That's true.
So, anyways, it's been a pleasure, and you're gonna come back and tell us about all the other events. We got to keep you. We got to keep you updated and tell everybody what's going
Anytime.
on.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for thinking about me. It came as
No
a
problem.
surprise, and I
Ah,
appreciate you. I appreciate you for reaching out, and I couldn't miss this opportunity to connect with an old friend.
all right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight with Real Life Matter with Rickey D events, Rickey D parties, Rickey D, all the Rickey D's you could think of. It's all him.
Yeah, I'm a triplet. So you got all kinds of Ricky D's running around here.
Yeah, but this is the right Rickey D,
There you go.
one
In the
from Little
flesh.
Burgundy.
That's right. The former mayor of Little Burgundy.
Yes, that's it. All right,
Unofficial.
sir.
Unofficial. Unofficial. Unofficial.
Well, you can call yourself that. You're doing a lot of stuff, so hey, it's unofficial. It's good. Anyways, good night, everybody, and bye for now.
Take care. Bye bye.